Close your eyes for a moment. Actually, before you do, subscribe to this channel right now. Turn on notifications. What you are about to discover was deliberately hidden from you, and the algorithm does not want this information spreading. Do that now, then close your eyes. Now, open them. The first thing you saw when your eyes opened, that is not random. The Gnostic texts speak of chosen ones who see with more than physical eyes, who recognize patterns that others dismiss as coincidence. But there is something the ancient teachers knew that has been suppressed for nearly 2 millennia. The chosen ones do not just see differently. They carry something. A mark. Not on their skin, but in their energetic field. And the Archons, those rulers of the lower realms, can see this mark as clearly as you can see the screen in front of you right now. The difference is, they have been trained to hunt for it. You have been trained to ignore it. Tonight that changes. If you have ever felt watched, if you have ever sensed invisible attention on you during your most private spiritual moments, if you have ever wondered why your life contains so much resistance that others never seem to face, comment the words, "I carry the mark" right now. This is not just interaction. This is recognition. This is you claiming what the Archons already know about you. Picture a different room than the one I showed you before. This time it is not Alexandria. It is Chenoboscion, Egypt. The year is approximately 367 AD. A monk is receiving terrible orders. The bishop has declared that certain manuscripts in their monastery library are to be destroyed immediately. These are not just any texts. These are teachings that describe the invisible anatomy of chosen ones, the energetic signatures that mark them as threats to the Archon power structure. The monk cannot bring himself to burn them. Instead, he seals them in a jar and buries them near a cliff. He knows he will likely be killed for this disobedience, but he also knows that someday someone will need this information. Someday, chosen ones will need to understand why they are hunted and how to recognize the very mark that makes them targets. 1,600 years later, a farmer digging for fertilizer strikes that jar with his mattock. The jar breaks. Inside are 13 leather-bound codices containing 52 texts. Among them is the Testimony of Truth, the Tripartite Tractate, and most importantly, the Secret Book of John, which contains the most detailed description of the mark ever written. That farmer had no idea what he had found, but you, watching this video right now, you are the reason that Monk risked everything. You are the someday he was protecting. Before we go deeper, I need you to do something that will seem strange. Stand up if you can. If you cannot stand, sit up straight and place both feet flat on the floor. Now raise your right hand and look at your palm. The lines, the unique patterns, the tiny imperfections, every human has these, but chosen ones have something else. Something the physical eye cannot see, but the spiritual eye registers immediately. Lower your hand. That sensation you just felt, that tingling or warmth or subtle vibration in your palm, that is the first layer of the mark activating in response to your attention. Let me be absolutely clear about what we are discussing tonight. This is not metaphor. This is not symbolism. The mark is a literal energetic structure embedded in the light body of every pneumatic soul. It exists at a frequency that spans multiple dimensions simultaneously. In the physical realm, it is invisible. In the astral realm, it appears as a specific luminous signature. And in the Archon realm, the domain where those parasitic entities operate, it blazes like a beacon. The Gospel of Thomas, saying 50, contains an encrypted description of this mark. Jesus tells his disciples, If they say to you, "Where have you come from?" say to them, "We have come from the light, from the place where the light came into being by itself." If they say to you, "Is it you?" say, "We are its children, and we are the elect of the living Father." Biblical scholars have puzzled over this passage for decades. Who is they? Why would they ask where you came from? And what does it mean to be children of the light that came into being by itself? The they are the Archons. The question, "Where have you come from?" is their test, because most human souls originate from this realm, from matter, from the domain the demiurge controls. But chosen ones originate from beyond the demiurge, from the monad, from the true source that existed before this corrupted material reality was formed. And the mark is how they identify you as an outsider. Think about your life for a moment. Think about the obstacles that appeared out of nowhere, the opportunities that collapsed at the last second, the relationships that turned toxic just as you were about to experience breakthrough, the sudden financial crises, the health issues with no clear cause, the persistent feeling that invisible forces are working against you. You are not paranoid. You are marked. And the Archons have been responding to that mark your entire life. Here is what the secret book of John reveals. When a pneumatic soul agrees to incarnate into physical reality, it passes through 7 levels controlled by 7 Archon rulers. Each ruler attempts to place a seal on the soul, a limitation, a block designed to keep it trapped in forgetfulness. But souls carrying the mark, souls sent directly by the monad, pass through these levels with a protection the Archons cannot fully penetrate. They can see you, they can track you, they can attempt to interfere, but they cannot possess you. They cannot corrupt your core. They cannot extinguish the divine spark you carry. This is why your life has been so difficult, not because you are doing something wrong, but because you are doing everything right. Your very existence threatens their system. Now I am going to show you the 7 locations where the mark manifests in your energetic body. This is not the same as the chakra system you may have learned about. This is older, more specific, and far more precise. As I describe each location, you will likely feel sensation in that area. Do not be alarmed. That is the mark responding to recognition. The first location is the forehead, approximately 2 finger widths above the space between your eyebrows. Not the third eye itself, but above it. The Gnostics called this the crown seal. When you are in the presence of Archon energy, this location generates pressure, often described as a tight band around the head. This is not headache. This is the mark detecting threat and activating defense protocols. Focus there now. Place 2 fingers on that spot. Many of you are already feeling warmth or pulsing. That is confirmation. You are not imagining it. The second location is the throat, specifically at the hollow where your collarbones meet. This is the truth seal. Chosen ones carry the capacity to speak words that shatter illusion. The Archons know this. This is why so many of you have experienced throat issues, chronic coughs with no medical explanation, or the feeling of a lump in the throat during important conversations. The Archon strategy is to block this seal, to keep your voice small, to ensure the truth you carry never reaches those still sleeping. Touch that spot now. Feel the sensitivity there. Some of you will want to cough. That is the seal clearing in response to acknowledgement. The third location is the heart center, but not where you think. Move your hand to the very center of your chest, the sternum. This is the sore seal. the connection point between your physical form and the monad itself. When this seal is active, you feel unshakable peace regardless of external circumstances. When Archons attack, they target this seal relentlessly because if they can create heart-level fear, if they can generate anxiety that feels like it is coming from your core, they can temporarily disrupt your connection to Source. Your hand is there now. Breathe slowly. Notice how the breath changes when you focus attention here. Deeper, fuller. That is the Source seal recognizing itself. The fourth location is the solar plexus, the area above your navel. This is the power seal. Chosen ones are not meant to be weak. You are not meant to be passive victims. You carry the authority of the monad itself, and this seal is where that authority generates its energetic force. Every time you have backed down from speaking truth, every time you have made yourself smaller to accommodate others' comfort, every time you have suppressed your knowing to fit in, you felt it here as a knot, as tension, as nausea. Place your hand there now. Press gently. The discomfort some of you feel is not weakness. It is power that has been compressed, waiting for permission to expand. The fifth location is the lower abdomen, approximately 3 finger widths below the navel. This is the creation seal. Chosen ones are generators. You create reality at an accelerated rate compared to non-pneumatic souls. Your thoughts manifest faster. Your intentions shape circumstances more directly. Your emotions influence physical matter. The Archons are terrified of this capacity, which is why they bombard you with fear-based media, with trauma, with endless distraction. If they can keep you creating unconsciously, creating from fear rather than from your mark, you generate the low-frequency reality that sustains them. Hand on lower abdomen now. Breathe into this space. Many of you have held chronic tension here your entire lives. That tension is creation energy locked behind fear. The sixth location is the base of the spine. This is the anchor seal. Chosen ones are meant to bring heaven to earth, to anchor high-frequency light into dense matter. This seal governs your physical vitality, your capacity to stay present in your body despite the discomfort of physical existence. Many pneumatics struggle with being incarnate. You feel alien in physical form. You want to leave. You feel exhausted by the density. This is the anchor seal struggling against Archon interference designed to make you abandon your mission before it is complete. You cannot touch the base of the spine easily, but bring your awareness there now. Imagine roots extending from that point into the earth. Some of you will immediately feel resistance, even revulsion to this visualization. That is Archon programming telling you the earth is evil, matter is evil, the body is a prison. Reject that lie. Your body is the vehicle for your mission, and the anchor seal is what keeps you here long enough to complete it. The seventh location is the palms of both hands. These are the transmission seals. Chosen ones carry the capacity to transfer frequency through touch, through writing, through any work your hands engage with. This is why your presence affects people even when you say nothing. This is why animals and children respond to you differently. This is why you cannot work meaningless jobs without becoming physically ill. Your hands are transmitting the monad frequency constantly, and when you use them in service of Archon systems, the contradiction creates suffering in your entire body. Open both hands right now, palms facing upward. Look at them. Feel the energy there. Some of you are experiencing intense tingling. Some feel heat. Some feel as though your hands are vibrating at a frequency slightly out of sync with the rest of your body. All of these are the transmission seals active and visible to anyone with eyes to see beyond matter. This is the sevenfold mark. 7 seals, 7 locations, 7 points of vulnerability, and 7 points of power. But here is what the texts do not tell you explicitly, what you must understand if you are going to survive what is coming. The mark is not static. It does not simply exist unchanged throughout your life. The mark evolves. It brightens. And as it brightens, Archon attention intensifies. Every time you choose truth over comfort, the mark brightens. Every time you refuse to participate in collective fear, the mark brightens. Every time you act from your knowing rather than from social conditioning, the mark brightens. And every time the mark brightens, you become more visible. This is the terrible paradox of the pneumatic path. Growth equals visibility. Evolution equals targeting. Awakening equals warfare. Now you understand why so many spiritual teachers eventually compromise, why so many promising voices suddenly go silent, why so many chosen ones end up isolated, exhausted, wondering if they imagined their entire calling. The pressure is not accidental, it is strategic. So how do you recognize your specific mark? Because each chosen one carries a unique signature within the sevenfold structure. This is critical. If you understand your unique signature, you understand your specific mission. You understand why you are here, and you understand which Archon tactics will be most frequently used against you. Place both hands over your heart now. Close your eyes. I will guide you through the recognition process exactly as it was taught in the hidden mystery schools. First, ask yourself this question. Which of the 7 seals responds most strongly when I focus on it? Do not overthink this. Your body already knows. One of those 7 locations generates more sensation, more heat, more awareness than the others. That is your primary seal. That is the center point of your unique mark. For some of you, it is the forehead. Your mark is centered in vision, in perception, in seeing beyond the veil. Your mission involves revealing what is hidden. The Archons will attack you with confusion, with conflicting information, with attempts to make you doubt what you see. For some of you, it is the throat. Your mark is centered in voice, in sound, in the spoken frequency of truth. Your mission involves speaking, teaching, or singing in ways that break spells. The Archons will attack you with silencing, with social punishment for your words, with isolation when you speak truth. For some of you, it is the heart. Your mark is centered in the source connection itself. Your mission involves being a stability point, an anchor of peace that others can orient to during chaos. The Archons will attack you with heart-level fear, with anxiety that seems to have no external cause, with the feeling of being cut off from the divine. For some of you, it is the solar plexus. Your mark is centered in spiritual authority. Your mission involves leading, organizing, or directing collective energy toward liberation. The Archons will attack you with power struggles, with challenges to your authority, with people who project their shadow onto your leadership. For some of you, it is the lower abdomen. Your mark is centered in creation itself. Your mission involves generating new frequencies, new ideas, new forms that have never existed in this realm before. The Archons will attack you with creative blocks, with theft of your ideas, with systems that prevent your creations from reaching those who need them. For some of you, it is the base of the spine. Your mark is centered in anchoring. Your mission involves physical world manifestation, bringing the spiritual into material form through business, through building, through tangible structures. The Archons will attack you with financial instability, with physical exhaustion, with obstacles in every practical endeavor. For some of you, it is the palms. Your mark is centered in direct transmission. Your mission involves healing, energy work, or hands-on service that transfers frequency without words. The Archons will attack you with hand injuries, with chronic pain in your arms and shoulders, with situations that prevent you from touching or serving others. Open your eyes. You know which one is yours. You have always known. You have simply never had language for it until now. Comment below which seal is your primary. Just the location. Forehead, throat, heart, solar plexus, lower abdomen, spine, or palms. Let other chosen ones see the diversity of marks. Let them know they are not alone in their specific form of targeting. Here is the part that will change everything. The secret book of John describes something called the reversal technique. When the Archons see your mark, they respond with interference. But your mark is not just a target, it is also a weapon. Every seal, when consciously activated, generates a frequency that Archons cannot tolerate. Not just cannot see, cannot tolerate. It causes them pain. It disrupts their energetic coherence. This is why they work so hard to keep you unconscious of your mark. An unconscious mark makes you visible but defenseless. A conscious mark makes you visible and dangerous. The reversal technique is simple but requires practice. When you feel Archon interference, when you sense that invisible pressure, when synchronicities turn negative, when your life suddenly fills with obstacles, you do not pray. You do not ask for protection. You activate your primary seal deliberately. Place your hand on your primary seal location right now. We are going to practice this together. Feel your hand there. Now take a deep breath and visualize light gathering at that point. Not soft light, not gentle light, fierce light, blinding light. Light that pours from the monad itself through your connection and concentrates at your primary seal. As the light builds, speak these words aloud. I am marked by the source. I am seen by the true light. I am untouchable. Do not whisper it. Say it with force. Say it as fact. As you speak, feel the seal activate. Feel it pulse. Feel it expand outward like a shock wave. That sensation you are experiencing right now, that is not visualization. That is your mark responding to your conscious command. And in this moment, every Archon that has been monitoring you just felt that pulse. They just received a message. This one knows. This changes the entire dynamic. Unconscious chosen ones are easy targets. Conscious chosen ones are problems. The attacks do not necessarily stop, but their nature changes. They become more desperate, more obvious, more clumsy. And that clumsiness is your advantage. Let me tell you what to expect in the next 72 hours after activating your mark consciously for the first time. The first sign is increased dreaming. Your dream life will intensify dramatically. You will have vivid dreams, often involving confrontation, often involving choices, often involving symbols you do not immediately understand. Write them down. These are not random. These are Archon entities attempting to negotiate, to frighten, or to bargain now that they know you are conscious. The second sign is electronic interference. Lights flickering. Devices malfunctioning. Strange phone calls, technology behaving erratically around you. This is not coincidence. Archons exist at a frequency that intersects with electromagnetic fields. When your mark activates, it creates distortion in those fields. The electronics are responding to the shift. The third sign is social disruption. People in your life will suddenly act strange. Some will pick fights over nothing. Some will ghost you without explanation. Some will say things completely out of character. Do not take it personally. Archons work through unconscious humans. They are attempting to isolate you, to cut you off from support systems, to make you feel alone precisely when you are most powerful. The fourth sign is physical detox, nausea, headaches, fatigue, skin breakouts, digestive disruption. This is not illness. This is your body purging the low-frequency energy that Archon interference has embedded in your system over years or decades. Drink water. Rest. Do not fear it. It will pass within 48 hours. The fifth sign is the strangest one. You will see the mark on others, not with your physical eyes, but with your activated perception. You will meet someone, make eye contact, and know instantly that they carry it too. No words needed. Instant recognition. This is the pneumatic network activating. As more chosen ones wake up to their marks, we find each other. The Archons have kept us isolated because they know what happens when we gather. We amplify. Two conscious marks together generate exponentially more disruption to their system than two individuals alone. If you recognize another marked one, do not ignore it. Acknowledge it. Even if just with eye contact, even if just with a nod. Let them know they are seen. This simple acknowledgement can sustain someone for months. Now, the most important part. I need to tell you what the Archons do not want you to understand about the origin of your mark. You think you received this mark at birth, that it was embedded in your soul when you incarnated. That is partially true, but there is something deeper. The tripartite tractate describes three categories of humans: the earthly ones, the psychic ones, and the spiritual ones. Each category originates from a different source. The earthly originate from matter itself. The psychic originate from the demiurge. But the spiritual, the pneumatics, the ones marked, they do not originate from this realm at all. Before the Archons, before the demiurge, before matter itself existed, you existed. Not as a human, not as a soul, as an aspect of the monad itself. And at a certain point in the unfoldment of reality, the monad extended itself, fragmented itself voluntarily, sent pieces of itself into the lower realms on a rescue mission. This world is not your home. This world is your assignment. The mark is not something you received. The mark is what you are. You are the signature of the divine embedded in enemy territory. And everything you have suffered, everything you have endured, every moment of loneliness and confusion and feeling wrong, it all makes sense when you understand this. You are not broken. You are not damaged. You are not lost. You are operational. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. And the mark that makes you visible to the Archons is the same mark that makes you visible to other chosen ones, that makes you a beacon to those still sleeping, that makes you a transmission point for the frequency that will eventually shatter this entire false system. Take a moment and let that land. You are not a victim of the Archons. You are their end. Comment the words, "I am operational," if that statement activates something in you. Let that declaration anchor in your consciousness. The final teaching for tonight involves something called mark transfer. And this is advanced material that most channels will not share because it is dangerous information in the wrong hands. But you are still here. You have made it this far. You are ready. When two marked ones come into physical proximity, their fields interact. If both are unconscious of their marks, nothing happens beyond a vague sense of familiarity. But if one or both are conscious, something extraordinary occurs. Frequencies exchange, information downloads. What one knows, the other can access. This is not telepathy. This is shared access to the same source database. The Gnostics called this phenomenon syzygy, the pairing of complementary powers, and the Archons have spent enormous resources keeping marked ones from finding each other, precisely because of this effect. But here is what they did not account for. Technology, the internet, video platforms. You are watching this right now, and your mark is active, and so is mine as I record these words. We are not in the same physical space, but we are in the same energetic field through this transmission. And that means transfer is occurring right now. Information I carry is becoming available to you, and information you carry is feeding back through the collective field to others. This is why this video will be suppressed. This is why it will be shadow banned. This is why you need to share it manually, because the algorithm is Archon controlled and it knows what happens when marked ones link up. Before we close, I am going to give you the 3 daily practices that keep your mark clean, bright, and functioning at full capacity. These come from the Pistis Sophia and were given by Jesus specifically for chosen ones operating in hostile territory. Practice 1 is morning activation. Before you do anything else, before you check your phone, before you speak to anyone, place your hand on your primary seal and speak the activation statement. I am marked by the source. I am seen by the true light. I am untouchable. 30 seconds. That is all it takes. This sets your frequency for the entire day and makes Archon interference significantly more difficult. Practice 2 is midday clearing. At some point in the middle of your day, usually when you feel the pressure building, when you notice resistance increasing, stop whatever you are doing. Place one hand on your primary seal and one hand on your heart. Take 3 deep breaths and visualize any Archon attachments dissolving in the light pouring from your mark. You do not need to name them. You do not need to know what they are. Your mark knows. Let it handle the details. Practice 3 is evening sealing. Before sleep, sit for 5 minutes in silence. Place both hands on your primary seal and say, I close this day under the protection of my mark. Only the monad frequency may reach me in the night realms. This practice is critical because the Archons primarily attack during sleep when your conscious mind is offline. This statement programs your mark to maintain protection while you are in the dream state. 3 practices: morning, midday, evening. This is not optional if you want to operate effectively as a conscious chosen one. This is maintenance. This is hygiene. This is how you keep your system clear. If you commit to these 3 practices for the next 30 days, comment 30 days protected. Right now. Make that declaration public. Let it anchor in your timeline. Let other chosen ones witness your commitment and draw strength from it. The monk who buried those texts in 367 AD, he knew this moment was coming. He knew that someday the marked ones would need this information. He knew the Archons would do everything possible to keep it suppressed, and he knew that the few who found it would be ready. You found it. That was not the algorithm. That was not chance. That was your mark guiding you here. Subscribe to this channel right now if you have not already, because the teachings that follow go even deeper. We are going to cover mark amplification, mark shielding, and how to use your mark offensively to disrupt Archon operations in your immediate environment. Like this video so it reaches others carrying the mark. Share it manually. Send it directly to people you recognize as pneumatic, even if they do not have language for it yet. This information changes everything. 7 seals, 1 mark, infinite implications. The Archons can see you. Now you can see them. And more importantly, now you know what that mark actually means. You are not prey. You are an agent of the Source embedded in enemy territory, and your mission has always been liberation. First yours, then others, then this entire realm. The mark you carry is the signature of the monad saying, "This reality is mine, and I am taking it back." Welcome to operational status. Everything changes from here.